Lisa Carter walked through the long metal hallway. Her boots made soft sounds on the floor with each step. The walls were white and clean, but they felt cold. She could hear her heart beating fast in her chest. Today was the day that would decide everything for humanity. The big doors at the end of the hall were getting closer. Behind those doors was the largest arena in the galaxy. Thousands of aliens from different worlds would be watching her. They all thought humans were too violent to join their group of peaceful planets. Lisa had to prove them wrong. She stopped in front of the doors and took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking a little, but she made them stop. Commander Lisa Carter had been a soldier for 15 years. She had been in many battles and faced many dangers. But this was different. This time she was not just fighting for herself. She was fighting for every human alive. The doors opened with a loud sound. Light poured in from the arena. Lisa stepped forward and felt the ground change under her feet. The metal floor of the hallway became smooth stone. The arena was huge. It was bigger than 10 football fields put together. The ceiling was so high that she could barely see it. All around her, thousands of seats rose up like a mountain. In those seats sat creatures from 47 different worlds. Some looked like giant insects with many eyes. Others were made of what looked like living crystal that sparkled in the light. Some had fur, some had scales, and some seemed to be made of pure energy that glowed softly. All of them were staring at her. Lisa walked to the center of the arena. The stone under her feet was old and worn smooth by countless battles that had happened here before. She could feel the weight of all those eyes watching her every move. Some of the aliens were making sounds to each other. Their voices mixed together into a low buzz that filled the air. At the far end of the arena, on a platform that rose above all the other seats, sat the leaders of the Galactic Council. These were the most important beings from each world. They would decide if humans could join their group, or if Earth would stay alone in space forever. The tallest of the council leaders stood up. His name was Crixtal, and he came from a world where everyone looked like they were made of blue crystal. When he moved, light bounced off his body and made patterns on the walls. His voice was deep and loud when he spoke. "We are here today because the humans want to join us," Crixtal said. His words were changed by machines so everyone could understand them. "They say they are peaceful now. They say they have learned to live without war, but we have studied their history. We have seen what they do to each other and to their own world." Lisa stood still and listened. She knew what was coming next. Every human on Earth knew about this day. The news had been talking about it for months. Some people thought it was hopeless. Others believed that humans deserved a chance to prove themselves. "Humans fight wars that last for years," Crixtal continued. "They poison their air and water. They destroy forests and kill animals. They cannot even agree among themselves about simple things. How can we trust them to be part of our peaceful galaxy?" Other council members nodded their agreement. A creature that looked like a giant bird with golden feathers made a sound that might have been laughter. Another being, one covered in silver scales, shook its head sadly. Lisa felt anger rise in her chest, but she pushed it down. Getting angry would not help. It would only prove that they were right about humans being violent. She had to stay calm and think clearly. "But," Crixtal said, raising one crystal hand, "we believe in fairness. We will give humanity one chance to prove they are worthy. This chance comes in the form of an ancient tradition. One human will fight our champion in single combat. If the human wins, your people may join us. If the human loses, Earth will remain alone for 100 more years." The arena became very quiet. Lisa could hear her own breathing. This was the moment she had been training for. When the council had announced this test 6 months ago, millions of humans had volunteered to be their representative. But Lisa had been chosen because she was not just a good fighter. She was someone who understood what it meant to be human. A door on the opposite side of the arena began to open. The sound echoed through the huge space like thunder. All the aliens in the seats leaned forward to watch. Some of them made excited sounds. Others became very quiet. What came through that door made Lisa's blood turn cold. the council's champion, was not human. It was not like any creature Lisa had ever seen. It stood 12 feet tall and had 4 arms. Each arm ended in claws that looked sharper than knives. Its skin was black and hard like armor. When it moved, Lisa could hear the sound of its claws clicking on the stone floor. This creature had never lost a fight. Lisa knew this because she had studied every battle it had ever fought. For 300 years, beings from different worlds had challenged it. Some were strong, some were fast, some were very smart. All of them had lost. The creature looked at Lisa with 4 yellow eyes. It made a sound deep in its throat that might have been amusement. To this champion, Lisa probably looked like a small, weak thing that would be easy to defeat. She was only 5.5 feet tall. She had 2 arms instead of 4. Her skin was soft, not hard like armor. But Lisa had something that the champion did not expect. She had something that no other challenger had ever brought into this arena. She had the heart of a human being. She had the knowledge of what her people could be when they were at their best. The crowd grew louder as the 2 fighters faced each other. Bets were being made in the seats above. Most of the aliens thought Lisa would be defeated in seconds. A few hoped she might last a full minute. None of them expected what was about to happen. Lisa looked up at the thousands of faces watching her. Some showed curiosity. Others showed pity. Many showed the kind of excitement that comes from watching something dangerous. She thought about her daughter back on Earth. She thought about all the humans who were watching this fight on television. She thought about the teachers and doctors and artists and builders who made humanity worth saving. The signal to begin would come soon. Lisa reached for the weapon at her side. It was a simple plasma rifle, the kind that human soldiers had used for 50 years. Next to the champion's natural weapons, it looked small and weak, but Lisa was not planning to win this fight the way everyone expected. 3 days before the fight, Lisa sat in her small room on the human spaceship. The ship was called New Horizon, and it had brought the human team to this distant part of space. Her room had a bed, a desk, and a small window that showed the stars outside. She had been staring at those stars for hours. On her desk was a picture of her daughter Katie. Katie was only 8 years old and lived with her grandmother back on Earth. Every night before bed, Katie would look up at the sky and wave at the stars, knowing her mother was somewhere out there. Lisa picked up the picture and smiled. This fight was for Katie and for all the children like her. A soft knock came at her door. "Come in," Lisa said. Commander Amy Patterson walked into the room. Amy was Lisa's best friend and had known her since they were both young soldiers. Amy's face looked worried. She carried a tablet computer in her hands. "I have been watching the videos again," Amy said, sitting down on the chair next to Lisa's bed. "The champion's last 50 fights. Every single opponent tried to be stronger or faster than it. Every single one failed." Lisa nodded. She had watched those videos too. The alien champion was called a Krillian. It came from a world where fighting was the most important thing in life. From the time they were babies, Krillians learned how to use their claws and how to move quickly in battle. "Show me the one where the challenger lasted the longest," Lisa said. Amy touched her tablet and a moving picture appeared in the air above it. The picture showed the arena from 3 years ago. A creature that looked like a giant bear with metal teeth was fighting the champion. The bear creature was strong and brave, but the champion was too fast. The fight ended in less than 2 minutes. 43 seconds, Amy said sadly. That is the longest anyone has ever lasted against it. Lisa watched the video again. The bear creature had tried to grab the champion with its big arms, but the champion had 4 arms and could attack from different directions at the same time. Its claws cut through the bear creature's thick fur like it was paper. Another knock came at the door. This time it was Lieutenant Colonel Ben Harrison. Ben was the smartest person on their team when it came to planning battles. He knew everything about weapons and fighting techniques. His hair was gray, and he wore glasses that made his eyes look bigger. "I have finished studying the champion's body," Ben said, holding up his own tablet. "I found some things that might help." Lisa and Amy looked at the pictures Ben showed them. The pictures were made by special cameras that could see inside the Champion's body. They showed how its muscles worked and where its bones were. The armor on its skin is very hard, Ben explained. But there are small gaps between the pieces. If you could hit those gaps with perfect aim, you might hurt it. But the gaps are very small, and the champion moves very fast. Amy shook her head. Lisa's a good shot, but no one is that good. Not when something with 4 claws is trying to kill you. Ben nodded. There is something else. Krillians can only see straight ahead very well. Their side vision is not good. If you could get beside it or behind it, you might have a chance, but how? Amy asked. It is faster than any human. Before Ben could answer, the door opened again. Dr. Helen Brooks came in without knocking. Helen studied alien animals and plants. She knew more about different life forms than anyone else on the ship. Her clothes were always wrinkled and her hair was messy because she spent all her time reading and studying. I have been reading about Krillian culture, Helen said excitedly. This is very important. Fighting is not just about winning for them, it is about honor. They respect enemies who show courage even when those enemies lose. Lisa looked interested. What do you mean? Helen sat down on the floor and opened her tablet. Pictures of Krillian warriors appeared in the air. They all looked fierce and dangerous, but they stood in proud poses like ancient knights. On their homeworld, before a fight begins, warriors show respect to each other, Helen explained. They have ceremonies. They speak about why they are fighting. The strongest warriors are not just good at killing, they are good at showing honor. Amy looked confused. How does that help Lisa? She still has to fight that thing. Helen smiled in a way that made Lisa think she had discovered something important. Maybe the fight is not about fighting at all. Maybe it is about showing who humans really are. That night, Lisa could not sleep. She walked through the quiet hallways of the ship. Most of the crew was asleep, but she found Captain Sam Rodriguez in the ship's control room. Sam was looking out the big window at the space station where the fight would happen tomorrow. Cannot sleep either? Sam asked when he saw Lisa. Lisa shook her head and sat down next to him. Sam was a good pilot and a kind man. He had a wife and 2 sons back on Earth. Like Lisa, he was thinking about his family. I keep wondering if I am doing the right thing, Lisa said quietly. Maybe they should have sent someone stronger, someone who could actually win a real fight. Sam was quiet for a long time. Then he said, Do you remember the earthquake in California last year? Lisa nodded. The earthquake had destroyed many buildings and hurt thousands of people. I watched the news every day. Sam continued. I saw humans running into burning buildings to save strangers. I saw doctors working for days without sleep to help injured people. I saw neighbors sharing food with people they had never met before. That is what humans do when things get bad. We help each other. But this is different, Lisa said. This is about fighting. Is it? Sam asked. Or is it about showing those aliens who we really are? Lisa thought about this. She remembered stories. Her grandmother had told her about her great-grandfather. He had been a soldier in a war many years ago. But the stories were not about battles he had won. They were about times when he had helped enemy soldiers who were hurt. They were about food he had shared with hungry children in bombed cities. My great-grandfather once told my grandmother something, Lisa said slowly. He said that anyone can learn to fight. But it takes something special to know when not to fight, Sam smiled. Maybe that is what you need to show them tomorrow. The next morning, Lisa woke up early. She did her usual exercises to keep her body strong and flexible. She cleaned her weapon and checked her equipment. But most importantly, she spent time thinking about what it meant to be human. She thought about scientists who spent their lives trying to cure diseases. She thought about teachers who helped children learn to read. She thought about artists who created beautiful things just to make people happy. She thought about parents who worked hard to give their children better lives. All of these people were fighters in their own way. But they were not fighting to hurt others. They were fighting to make the world better. As Lisa got ready to leave for the arena, she made a decision. She would not try to be stronger or faster than the champion. She would not try to find the weak spots in its armor. Instead, she would show the galaxy what humans were really like when they were at their best. Amy came to walk with her to the transport ship that would take them to the arena. "Are you ready?" Amy asked. Lisa looked at her friend and smiled. For the first time in days, she felt calm and sure of herself. "Yes," she said. "I know exactly what I'm going to do." The arena was completely silent. Lisa could hear her own heartbeat in her ears. She stood 30 feet away from the Krillian champion. Between them was nothing but smooth stone floor and empty air. Above them, thousands of aliens waited to see her die. The champion looked even bigger up close. Its black armor gleamed under the bright lights. Its 4 yellow eyes never blinked as they stared at her. Its claws made small scratching sounds on the stone as it shifted its weight from one foot to the other. Lisa could smell something sharp and dangerous coming from the creature, like metal that had been heated in fire. In the human viewing area, Admiral Peter Kane gripped the metal rail so hard his knuckles turned white. Next to him, Commander Steve Phillips was holding his breath. All the humans who had come to watch were completely quiet. Back on Earth, billions of people were watching, on television. Children in schools had stopped their lessons to see what would happen to Lisa Carter. The referee was a tall, thin alien with purple skin and no hair. It raised one long arm into the air. "The trial by combat will now begin," it announced. Its voice echoed through the arena like thunder. "The human fighter may use any weapon she has brought. The champion will use only its natural abilities. The fight ends when one fighter cannot continue or chooses to surrender." Lisa felt the weight of her plasma rifle in her hands. She had carried weapons like this one in many battles over the years. She knew exactly how to aim it and how to fire it. But today, the weapon felt different. It felt heavy and wrong. The referee's arm came down. "Begin!" The Krillian champion moved instantly. It was faster than Lisa had expected, even after watching all those videos. Its 4 legs pushed off the stone floor with incredible power. Its body flew toward her like a black missile. Its claws spread wide, ready to tear her apart. Lisa had trained for this moment. Her body knew what to do. She should roll to the side. She should raise her weapon and fire. She should try to hit one of the small gaps in the champion's armor. This was what every other fighter had tried to do. Instead, Lisa did something that no one in the arena expected. She dropped her weapon. The plasma rifle clattered on the stone floor and slid away from her. The sound seemed impossibly loud in the silence of the arena. Several aliens in the crowd made shocked noises. Others leaned forward in their seats to make sure they had seen correctly. The champion was moving so fast that it could not stop immediately. But when it saw Lisa drop her weapon, something changed in its yellow eyes. Confusion replaced the look of a predator about to kill. Its claws, which had been reaching for Lisa's throat, pulled back slightly. The massive creature slid to a stop, just 3 feet in front of Lisa. She could feel the heat coming from its body. She could see her reflection in its shiny black armor. One swipe from any of its forearms would cut her in half. But the champion did not attack. Lisa slowly raised both of her hands. Her palms faced toward the champion in the universal sign of peace. She looked directly into its 4 eyes and spoke in a clear, calm voice. "I know you can kill me in 1 second," she said. The arena's sound system carried her words to every corner of the huge space. "You are stronger than me. You are faster than me. You have more weapons than me. Everyone here knows you could win this fight easily." The champion tilted its large head to one side. In all its 300 years of fighting, no opponent had ever spoken to it like this. Most fighters screamed or cried or begged for mercy. Some shouted angry words or tried to insult it. But none had ever spoken so calmly about their own weakness. Lisa took a small step closer to the champion. She could see surprise in its eyes now. "But I did not come here to fight you," she continued. "I came here to show everyone in this arena who humans really are." The crowd was becoming restless. Aliens from different worlds began making sounds to each other. Some seemed angry that the fight was not going as expected. Others seemed curious about what the small human was trying to do. A few seemed impressed by her courage. Lisa looked up at the thousands of seats around her. She saw creatures made of crystal and metal and energy. She saw beings with fur and scales and smooth skin. She saw eyes of every color and size all focused on her. "Look around this arena," Lisa said, her voice growing stronger. "Every species here today has something amazing to offer the galaxy. The Altarians create music so beautiful it can heal broken hearts. The Centaurians know how to grow food that could end hunger on every world. The Veltar understand science that could take us to distant stars." The champion was listening now. Its head was still tilted, like a dog trying to understand human speech. Its claws had retracted slightly, no longer pointing at Lisa like weapons. "Humans are not the strongest species," Lisa continued. "We are not the smartest or the fastest, but we have something that makes us special. We will fight and die not for ourselves, but for strangers. We will sacrifice everything we have to protect people we have never met." She gestured toward the viewing areas where different alien species sat separated from each other. "Every one of you has the right to exist. Every one of you has value. If something threatened to destroy your worlds, humans would stand beside you and fight, not because we want to rule over you, but because it is the right thing to do." The Krillian champion made a low sound deep in its throat. It was not a threatening sound. It was the sound of someone thinking very hard about something new and unexpected. Lisa took another step closer. Now she was close enough to touch the champion if she reached out her hand. "I could try to trick you or hurt you. I could look for weak spots in your armor. But that would prove that humans are exactly what the Council thinks we are. It would prove that we solve problems by hurting others." She looked directly into the champion's 4 eyes. "Instead, I want to challenge you to something much harder than a fight. I challenge you to show mercy. I challenge you to prove that honor means more than just being strong enough to kill." The arena had become completely silent again. Even the aliens who had been making noise to each other had stopped talking. Everyone was staring at the small human woman who was standing so close to certain death. The champion stood perfectly still for several long seconds. Its breathing was the only sound in the entire arena. Lisa could see its 4 eyes moving as it thought about her words. She could see something changing in the way it looked at her. Then, slowly, the champion began to move. But it was not moving. To attack. Admiral Kane, watching from the human section, whispered to Commander Phillips, "What is it doing?" The champion was lowering itself, its 4 powerful legs bent at the joints. Its massive body came down toward the stone floor. Lisa watched in amazement as the undefeated warrior of the Galactic Council knelt down in front of her. The crowd exploded into chaos. Aliens jumped to their feet, shouting in languages from across the galaxy. Some seemed angry. Others seemed shocked. Many seemed confused about what they were seeing. But Lisa was not looking at the crowd anymore. She was looking at the champion, who had just done something that had never happened in the 300-year history of the arena. The greatest warrior in the galaxy had chosen not to fight. The Krillian champion knelt before Lisa on one knee. Its massive head was now level with hers. She could see her own reflection in its 4 yellow eyes. For the first time in 300 years of fighting, the champion looked confused and uncertain. The noise from the crowd was getting louder. Aliens were standing up in their seats and pointing at the arena floor. Some were making angry sounds. Others seemed shocked by what they were seeing. The crystal beings from Zephyr were flashing bright colors, which meant they were very excited or upset. Lisa looked at the champion's face. Up close, she could see that it was not just a killing machine. There was intelligence in its eyes. There was something that looked almost like curiosity. She realized that this creature was not evil or cruel. It was simply doing what it had been trained to do its entire life. "You have never been shown another way," Lisa said softly, so only the champion could hear her. "No one has ever asked you to be anything other than a fighter." The champion made a low, rumbling sound. It was trying to speak, but its voice was rough from years of only making battle cries. When it finally managed to form words, they came out slowly and carefully. "In 300 years, the champion said, no one has ever spoken to me as you do. They come here to prove they are stronger. They want to defeat me to show their power. But you ask me to be something more." Lisa smiled. "That is what humans do. We try to see the best in everyone, even our enemies. We believe that anyone can choose to be better than they were before. The crowd was getting even louder. Some aliens were shouting for the fight to continue. Others were calling for the judges to stop what was happening, but Lisa ignored them all. She was focused only on the champion. "What is your name?" she asked. The champion looked surprised by the question. "Name? I am the champion. That is all I have ever been called." "Everyone deserves a name," Lisa said. "What did your parents call you when you were young?" The champion was quiet for a long moment. Its eyes seemed to look far away, remembering something from long ago. "Kethvar," it said finally. "My mother called me Kethvar, but that was before I became the champion, before I learned to fight." "Kethvar," Lisa repeated. "That is a good name. It sounds strong but also kind." Kethvar, the champion, looked at Lisa with something new in his eyes. It might have been gratitude. No one had used his real name in more than 200 years. Up in the viewing area for the Galactic Council, the leaders were having an angry discussion. Ambassador Crixtal was flashing bright red colors, which meant he was very upset. Other council members were making loud noises in their own languages, but not all of them looked angry. The elderly Centaurian ambassador was leaning forward in his seat with interest. His old eyes were focused on Lisa and Kethvar. The Altarian delegate, who looked like a tall woman made of silver light, had put her hand over her heart. In her culture, this meant she was feeling strong emotions. Lisa stood up straighter and spoke louder so everyone in the arena could hear her. "Kethvar has spent 300 years being the strongest fighter in the galaxy, but today he is showing us something much more important. He is showing us that true strength comes from choosing peace when you could choose war." Kethvar rose from his kneeling position. Standing at full height again, he towered over Lisa. But now he did not look threatening. He looked proud in a different way than before. "The human speaks truth," Kethvar said, his voice carrying across the arena. "I have defeated every challenger who came before me. I have proven my strength in battle countless times, but this small human has done something no warrior has ever done. She has defeated me without raising a weapon." The noise from the crowd began to change. The angry shouting was becoming quieter. More aliens were sitting down and listening instead of protesting. Some were looking at each other with confused expressions, as if they were seeing something they had never expected to see. Lisa looked up at the council leaders. "You asked me to prove that humans deserve to join your galactic community. You wanted to see if we are worthy of being called peaceful. But peace is not about being too weak to fight. Peace is about being strong enough to choose not to fight." She gestured to Kethvar beside her. "This great warrior could have killed me in seconds. Instead, he chose to listen. He chose to think about what I was saying. He chose to be more than just a fighter. That is the kind of strength that builds civilizations instead of destroying them." Dr. Helen Brooks, watching from the human section, whispered to her colleagues, "She is doing it. She is actually changing their minds." Captain Sam Rodriguez nodded. "I told her that humans help each other when things get bad, but I think she is helping all of us today, even the aliens." Lisa continued speaking to the crowd. "Every species in this arena has faced wars and conflicts. All of you have had to make the choice between fighting and talking, between anger and understanding. The humans on Earth have made many mistakes. We have fought wars and hurt our planet and each other, but we have also learned from those mistakes." She pointed to different sections of the crowd. "We have learned that working together is better than fighting alone. We have learned that protecting the weak is more important than proving you are strong. We have learned that the best victory is the one where nobody has to die." Kethvar stepped forward to stand beside Lisa. When he spoke, his voice was clear and strong. "The council chose me as champion because I never lost a battle. But I understand now that I never truly won anything either. I only proved that I could hurt others. This human has shown me that the greatest victory is helping others become better." In the Altarian section, the silver delegate stood up. Her voice was like music when she spoke. "In 3,000 years of Altarian history, we have never seen such wisdom from someone so young. This human child has taught an ancient warrior something new about honor, The elderly Centaurian ambassador also stood up slowly. His voice was shaky with age but clear with conviction. On my world, we have a saying: the strongest tree is not the one that breaks other trees, but the one that helps the forest grow. Today we have seen such a tree. More aliens began standing up. Not all of them, but enough to notice. The Veltar scientist who had been taking notes throughout the trial put down her writing pad and rose to her feet. Two of the insect-like Thoraxians clicked their approval and stood as well. Ambassador Krixtal looked around at the other council members who were standing. His crystal body was flashing different colors now, not the red of anger, but the blue and gold colors that meant he was thinking deeply about something important. Lisa looked at all the aliens who were standing and felt her heart fill with hope, but she also saw many who were still sitting down, still unconvinced. She knew that this moment was fragile. Everything could still go wrong. I know that some of you still have doubts about humans, she said. You are right to be careful. Trust must be earned, not given freely. But I ask you to give us the chance to prove that we have learned from our mistakes. Give us the chance to show you what humans can do when we work together with others, instead of fighting against them. Kethavar placed one of his large hands gently on Lisa's shoulder. If the council will permit it, I would like to change my recommendation. I have been defeated today, but not in the way anyone expected. I have been defeated by wisdom and kindness. The humans should be welcomed into our community. The arena fell silent again. Everyone was looking at the council platform, waiting to see what the leaders would decide. Ambassador Krixtal stood up slowly. His crystal body caught the light and sent rainbow patterns across the arena walls. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of making one of the most important decisions in galactic history. Ambassador Krixtal stood on the council platform. His crystal body was glowing with soft blue light. The entire arena waited for his words. Lisa could feel her heart beating fast in her chest. Everything depended on what happened in the next few moments. Krixtal looked down at Lisa and Kethvar standing together in the center of the arena. Then he looked at all the aliens in the crowd. Some were still standing to show their support for humanity. Others remained in their seats, waiting to hear the council's decision. In all the years of our galactic community, Krixtal began, his voice echoing through the arena, we have never seen what happened here today. The trial by combat was created to test strength and fighting skill. But what we witnessed was something far more important. Lisa felt Kethavar's large hand still resting gently on her shoulder. The champion who had never been defeated was now standing beside her like a friend and protector. The human Lisa Carter has shown us that true strength does not come from winning battles, Krixtal continued. It comes from choosing not to fight when fighting would be easy. It comes from seeing good in others even when those others are your enemies. More aliens in the crowd began to stand up. The wave of movement started slowly but grew faster. Lisa watched in amazement as beings from dozens of different worlds rose to their feet. The insect-like creatures from Thorax were clicking their approval. The energy beings from Plasma were glowing brighter. Even some of the stern military delegates were standing up. But this decision is not mine alone to make, Krixtal said. He turned to the other council members on the platform. We must vote on whether humanity will be accepted into our community. The council members had a quick discussion among themselves. Lisa could not hear what they were saying, but she could see their body language. Some seemed excited. Others looked worried. A few appeared to be arguing. While the council talked, something wonderful was happening in the crowd. More and more aliens were standing up. What had started as a few individuals was becoming a massive show of support. Row after row of beings rose to their feet. The sound of movement filled the air as thousands of creatures stood up at the same time. Admiral Peter Kane, watching from the human section, had tears in his eyes. Look around, he whispered to Commander Steve Phillips. They are all standing up. It was true. Nearly every alien in the arena was now on their feet. The Centaurian delegation stood together, their old ambassador smiling with joy. The Altarian section glowed like silver stars as they all rose at once. Even the proud Zephyrian crystal beings, who had been humanity's harshest critics, were standing and flashing beautiful colors. Dr. Helen Brooks was crying openly. 45 seconds, she said through her tears. It took 45 seconds from when Lisa dropped her weapon until now. 45 seconds to change everything. Captain Sam Rodriguez was counting the aliens who were standing. It has to be 90% of them, he said in amazement. Maybe more. Down in the arena, Lisa looked around at all the beings who were showing their support. She felt overwhelmed by the sight. When she had walked into this arena an hour ago, most of these aliens had thought humans were too violent and dangerous to join their community. Now they were standing to honor her courage. Kethavar leaned down to speak quietly in her ear. In my culture, when warriors stand like this, it means they recognize someone as their equal. You have earned the respect of the entire galaxy. The council members finished their discussion. Krixtal stepped forward to the edge of the platform. The crowd became quiet, though everyone remained standing. The Galactic Council has reached our decision, Krixtal announced. But before we share that decision, we want to say something important. Today we learned that we were asking the wrong question. Lisa looked up at him with curiosity. We asked if humans were worthy to join us, Krixtal continued. But the real question is whether we are worthy to have humans join us. Lisa Carter has shown us a better way to solve conflicts. She has shown us that the strongest civilizations are built on understanding, not conquest. The Crystal Ambassador paused and looked directly at Lisa. The vote was not even close. Every council member voted to accept humanity into our galactic community. But more than that, we want to offer humans a leadership role in our council. We need teachers like Lisa Carter to help us become better than we are. The arena exploded with noise. Aliens from every world cheered in their own ways. The Thoraxians made clicking sounds like applause. The Altarians sang in harmony. The Centaurians stamped their feet in rhythm. The energy beings pulsed with bright light. Lisa felt her knees get weak with relief and joy. She had done it, not just for herself, but for every human alive. Children like her daughter Katie would grow up in a galaxy where humans were welcomed and respected. But the celebration was not over yet. Kethavar stepped away from Lisa and raised all four of his arms into the air. The crowd became quiet again to hear what the champion would say. I have a request for the council, Kethavar said in his deep voice. For 300 years, I have been your champion in combat. I have fought for you and won every battle. But today, I learned that there are more important things than winning fights. He looked at Lisa with respect and gratitude. I want to resign as champion of combat. Instead, I want to become champion of peace. I want to help teach others what this brave human has taught me. The crowd cheered even louder than before. The idea of the galaxy's greatest warrior becoming a teacher of peace was something no one had ever imagined. Krixtal was flashing bright gold colors, which meant he was very happy. The council accepts your request, Kethavar. You and Lisa Carter will work together to create a new department in our government. It will be called the Department of Peaceful Solutions. Lisa felt tears running down her face. She thought about her daughter back on Earth. She thought about all the humans who had watched this battle on television. She thought about the future. That was now possible because one person had chosen to show kindness instead of violence. Amy Patterson, watching from the human section, was jumping up and down with excitement. She did it, Amy shouted. Lisa actually did it. Ben Harrison was shaking his head in amazement. I spent weeks studying that champion's fighting techniques, but Lisa found a way to win without fighting at all. As the celebration continued around her, Lisa looked up at the thousands of aliens who were still standing and cheering. 45 seconds ago, they had been strangers from distant worlds who did not trust humans. Now they were friends and allies who would work together to build a better galaxy. She thought about her great-grandfather, who had told her grandmother that anyone can learn to fight, but it takes something special to know when not to fight. Today, Lisa had proven that humans possessed that special something. The arena floor was starting to fill with aliens who wanted to meet Lisa and congratulate her. Beings from dozens of worlds were walking down from their seats to shake her hand. and welcome humanity to the galactic community. Kethavar stayed close beside her, helping to translate when aliens spoke in languages she could not understand. The former champion had become her protector and friend in just a few minutes. As Lisa greeted each alien visitor, she realized that this was just the beginning. The real work would start now. Humans would have to prove every day that they deserved the trust that had been given to them. They would have to show that they could be good members of the galactic community. But looking around at all the smiling faces and friendly gestures, Lisa felt confident that humans were ready for this challenge. After all, helping others and working together was what humans did best. The girl who had entered the arena alone was no longer alone. She was surrounded by friends from across the galaxy, all of them ready to build a better future together.